Film Pulse is supported by the kind donations from listeners like you. Please consider subscribing to our Patreon at patreon.com/filmpulse for just $1 a month and help keep the podcast on the air. Thank you so much and enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 265. My name's Adam Patterson. We're joined today by Kevin Rakestraw. How are you, Kevin?
Pretty good.
Have a good weekend?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Having a pretty solid weekend myself.
Nice.
Went to Hoboken today.
Ooh. Look at you.
Yeah. Had a craving for Jimmy John's.
What?
And
What? Who gets cravings for Jimmy John's?
me.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Jimmy John's.
So much good food around you, and you're like, Jimmy John's. Let's do Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's is amazing. I don't want to hear it.
it's like a piece of bread, like one piece of shitty lunch meat.
No, it's fresh. It's all fresh. It's all made fresh. Even the bread. Jimmy John's is incredible.
Yeah, come on.
Went to Hoboken for some Jimmy John's.
Did you have to go the whole way to Hoboken for that?
Yeah.
Really?
They don't have. Yeah, there's no Jimmy John's in the city that I'm aware of.
So your trip to Hoboken was specifically for Jimmy John's?
Yeah, we went to Hoboken, ate at Jimmy John's, and then left.
I don't know why, but I find that to be hilarious.
Well, it takes a shorter amount of time for me to get to Hoboken than it does to get to like the World Trade Center. It's like a 20-minute train.
All right.
So it's not like I drove 2 hours to go there.
I'm gonna keep that in my head. That is
that's fine.
Like you had to pack lunches in order to get there.
In order to make it to lunch.
What are we going to talk about?
At any rate, it was nice. We're going to be talking about Rat Film today.
Okay.
This is the documentary from writer-director Theo Anthony. We're also going to be talking about something we've been watching on the watch list, new releases on VOD and in theaters and on Blu-ray. First, before we get into our review, a little bit of drama happened this week, and I wanted to talk about it. I'm not sure if you're familiar, if your feed picked up any of this stuff. What's going on with, or what happened with the Alamo Drafthouse?
Oh yeah, because I wanted to bring it up when we recorded Ryan's stuff, but I was like, I don't want to get, because that was like towards the end of the episode,
right?
And I didn't want it to be a whole thing, so I was then I forgot about it.
Well, we're gonna make it a thing right now.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were gonna bring it up.
Yeah, so about a year ago, we might have even mentioned it on the show. I'm not sure. That the critic Devin Faraci, he's the editor-in-chief, or he was the editor-in-chief of Birth Movies Death, which is owned by the Alamo Drafthouse. It's a film website. It's a pretty good film website. That he was there were some accusations thrown his way about some maybe some inappropriate sexual accusations that were being thrown around. Apparently he's a creep. A lot of people thought he was a creep before the accusations came out, and now people, I guess, it was proven that he was a creep.
Yeah.
So he was fired from Birth Movies Death, pretty much disappeared. He pretty much just fell off the face of the earth at that point. And this week it was revealed that he is back working at the Alamo Drafthouse and was doing he was writing the blurbs for Fantastic Fest this year.
Okay.
And he's doing some copywriting work for the Drafthouse. And I guess Tim League hired him and like didn't announce it or anything. I mean, why? I guess he probably didn't feel like he had to do something like that. I don't know if he was like trying to hide the fact that he rehired him from people. I just don't get that vibe.
It's it's bewildering to me, honestly.
That he would be rehired?
Well, just the way that Tim League handled everything.
I think that he didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal. So when people found out that Faraci was back on the payroll, they freaked out. And Tim League released a very well-written response.
No.
I thought it was well-written.
No.
I'm not saying I agree with him.
Oh my God, it was so terrible.
Well,
that's the thing that bewildered me even more, because okay, I can maybe see that this decision he didn't think was going to be, it wasn't going to blow up the way that it did. But then the comment, like, where he writes, I forget the exact wording, but he was like, if I find myself down the road in a similar situation, and it's just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What the hell do you mean by that?
That was a little bewildering.
Because it's just like, how does he not have like a trusted friend or something to just look over that and be like, hey, you know what? I would probably cut this part out because it was, sexual assault. Like, you don't just find yourself down the road in a similar situation. Like, it's really easy to avoid that.
At any rate, people did not like that response. That was definitely not good enough for them. And then I'm not sure which happened first. What happened next was the movie Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. They pulled out of Fantastic Fest. They were like, you know what? We don't want to be a part of this. We don't support this. We're pulling out. So they're not going to be screening at Fantastic Fest anymore.
Yeah.
Then, and see, this is what I'm not sure, like the timeline. If they pulled out first, then Tim League came out with his next statement, or if he came out with the statement, then they pulled out. Because one way makes the Alamo Drafthouse look worse, because it makes it look like the only reason that he's doing that is because that film pulled out and they were worried that more films were going to pull out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And just like the way, because I saw also, I think someone responded to him on Facebook about his response, and the way that he responded to that one as well was saying that, kind of like drawing this comparison that I guess he essentially said, like, how this is how people end up homeless, and he was like, not to say that Devin's that close, but it's because we don't give people second chances. And it's like, again, you just keep making it worse. Like, how was there no one around you to say, like, nah, I probably wouldn't compare it to being homeless. It's not a good idea.
So, yeah, I definitely would agree with that. Although, I mean, presumably Devin Faraci he burned every bridge he had in one fell swoop there. Like, he was not working. He's not able to make a living doing what he has done over the last, I don't know how long he's been in the business, a long time, probably more than a decade. So, and this is just me playing devil's advocate.
Don't do that.
Okay. Well, okay, my question, then the question I'll pose to you is, should he lose his career? Should he not be in his career, this career path anymore because of the actions that he has taken? Now, mind you, some of the people that accused him were other people in this industry.
Yes.
So it's not like this is a completely separate thing from his personal life and his professional life. Like, this is one and the same.
Yeah.
So that,
which I would say, yes, his career should be over. And it doesn't matter, it's kind of irrelevant that it's people within the same industry. I mean, if he sexually assaulted people, regardless of where, what industry they worked in, he should be done. Like, you're going to have to do...
No second chance.
No second chance. You could do something else. Find something else. I mean, you can try... Like, that's what from Tim League's point of view, like, I understand that he's your friend and you're trying to help him out and second chances and all, but maybe a second chance of, like, letting him stay at your house if need be, stuff like not hiring him back.
Something that doesn't put him in the public.
You don't have to go
profile.
that far. You can help him try and get a writing gig somewhere else, maybe. You know what I mean? But just, no. Not this. There's no need for this.
Or just have him do some work like on the DL, something that doesn't have his name attached to it.
Which it's just handled so terribly. Because I think at the beginning, if they were just open about it, because I think that's the thing that pissed people off the most is it seemed like he was never actually let go, even though they made it seem that way. And then there was also I think someone else that worked there contacted Tim League about, I guess, Devin's actions, and they were like, "Oh, try and keep it quiet." So yeah, come on.
So what happened because of this? Probably the 3 billboards thing, pulling out of Fantastic Fest. I'm sure that had a large part in it as well. They parted ways permanently. Tim League sent out another letter saying that he has resigned for good this time. He will not be coming back. He's gone. They cut all ties with him. This is the end. This is the end of the line for Mr. Faraci. So it just seems messy. It's unfortunate. I like the Alamo Drafthouse. I like Tim League. He seems like a genuinely good guy. And it sucks that they had to do so much damage control out of this. If there is any kind of silver lining, they announced that they're going to be doing all kinds of meetups and discussions and things at the Drafthouse locations.
Yeah.
So anybody interested can attend those.
I don't know. It seems disingenuous to me.
Well, it's
when you're
it's damage control.
Yeah. That's all it is. It's just performative.
They're trying to make up for the mistake they made in hiring him back. Although I think it's very clear that Tim League just wasn't thinking like this was going to blow up in his face like it did.
Well, he should have. I don't know how you did not see that coming.
Yeah, it's a tough thing, like you have like Jeepers Creepers 3 is coming out in just a couple weeks, and that is written and directed by a guy who is a convicted child molester, and he's able to keep working and making movies and doing his thing. Well, when he literally went to jail for it.
This is what I don't understand about these situations. Not that it really makes a difference, but they're not that talented of people. You can find someone else to direct Jeepers Creepers 3. I'm pretty sure. Why does he still get work?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know why sure
I don't know why people still work with him. That's the thing. Not just him getting work, because we all know that a lot of these studios and money people, they don't really give a shit about that type of stuff. They just see dollar signs. But the performers and the crew and these talented artists that come aboard to work with these people, it's why would you do that?
Yeah.
I would be afraid that it would tarnish my name if I was attached to a project that this guy did.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of a double standard, isn't it? Where you have a media personality, and it's not just movies. It's not just film journalism. It's across the board. You have game journalists and other people in the media. YouTubers is a good example. You have these people where they'll say something or do something that should get them in trouble, not defending them in any way. And that's it. Game over for them. But then you have directors doing awful things, athletes, professional athletes, murdering people and coming back, and it's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird to me that there's this double standard there.
I don't know what to say. The world's a weird place.
Is it if you get a certain level of fame, if you hit a specific level of fame, that you're somewhat untouchable? Was it this past week, PewDiePie the biggest YouTuber there is, like 50 plus million subscribers, bringing home ungodly amounts of money, is doing a stream and he says the N-word on a stream. And there was noticeable outrage, but he's still doing his thing. He's still making videos. He still has tens of millions of subscribers. And it's like, what's going on here? Well, it's okay for some people to get away with this shit, but not other people.
I mean, his is a little bit different because he can just... Because I think he's kind of in charge of it, right? Like, he's essentially self-employed and he's just doing...
Yeah, but people can... He can drop... Advertisers can drop...
Well, yeah, that's
sponsors
true.
Can drop him.
I
can still make...
I don't know how this works. The whole YouTuber thing, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, advertisers buy spots on YouTube and they can choose... Now they can choose what content they want their ads to be displayed on. So if PewDiePie does something that's really offensive and they don't want their product associated with his content, they can say, we do not want our ads to be shown before any PewDiePie videos.
Yeah.
So that essentially, will lose revenue for him. And then with sponsorships, that's just, a company contacts you, says, hey, can you talk about this or that, or make a video about this one game that we made or whatever. And then he can decide that he wants to do it or not. I don't watch him, so I don't know if he does those types of videos. And I'm also not saying that there's any kind of parallel between what PewDiePie did and what Devin Faraci did. They're two very different things that they did. My point was that they both did things that they should have gotten in trouble for.
Yeah.
At any rate, it seems like we're not going to be seeing much of Devin Faraci at all in the future. I think he's done for.
I think that's a good thing.
Sure. Yeah, so do I. He seemed like an asshole to begin with.
Well, that's the other thing, because I didn't really know too much about him. But seeing, how he was before all this came to light, it's just like, why? Why do you have him in charge?
Yeah, he was always kind of in hot water. He was always kind of a loudmouth. I've seen him at a few festivals. I never met him, so can't speak to him like personally what he's like. But
no.
At any rate, pretty shitty situation there.
You done fucked up. You fucked up, Tim League. You fucked it up a bunch of times.
I think they should be able to rebound from it, though. I mean, they
will.
They have a really good thing going, and they have a really loyal fan base, at least from what I can tell. So hopefully they'll bounce back and do the right thing. Let's talk about our movie this week. Rat Film. This is written and directed by Theo Anthony. This is a documentary of sorts. I have a synopsis here. Across walls, fences, and alleys, rats not only expose our boundaries of separation, but make homes in them. Rat Film is a feature-length documentary that uses the rat, as well as the humans that love them, live with them, and kill them, to explore the history of Baltimore. There's never been a rat problem in Baltimore. It's always been a people problem. We'll start with you, Kevin. What did you think of Rat Film?
I found it to be interesting, intermittently interesting. For me, the first question I had, like once it was over, was, "What's Rat Film about?" And the reason I say this is because there's a ton of dots in Rat Film, but I don't think that there's a whole lot connecting them.
No, there's, you can see the connective tissue in some of the things that they look at, but there's some other things like they spend a significant amount of time talking to the forensic guy,
Yeah.
and showing off the which is funny because not only did I see a documentary about those things, what are they called? Is it nutshell? Is that right? That doesn't sound right. The little model crime scenes.
Oh yeah.
That woman. I want to say nutshell, but I don't know if that's right. Those, and then the mock, that apartment that's like the mock crime scenes. They spent a lot of time with that. And interestingly, I saw a documentary about that earlier this year, and then I also saw the Morgan Spurlock rat documentary earlier this year too. So a lot of what I saw in rat film was very familiar to me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do completely agree that there are a lot of pieces to this puzzle, but I feel like many of them don't necessarily fit together. I feel like we're looking at pieces of multiple different puzzles that don't really fit into one cohesive picture.
Well, and it's like you said, you have these pieces. You get the sense that there's some connective tissue here, but at least I got the sense that he never really brought things together or connected them.
Right.
He just kind of like, here's a piece, here's a piece, here's a piece. You figure it out. Like, I think they connect, but I'm not entirely sure. It just kind of goes off of this basis of just assuming that people will connect it in some way.
And there's some sort of like overt things, like when he talked about that experiment they did in the barn. I think it was a barn where they set up like the whole big rat colony thing, and then how those like two male rats set up shop in a high rise, and like that was really interesting to me. And a lot of the kind of anecdotes and statistics and stuff that he says that they talk about the rats, you can correlate that to the human population of Baltimore. And I thought that it was interesting that he was kind of trying to take that angle, but not necessarily sure it worked 100%.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff you just, like the rat hunting and stuff, like I just wasn't sure what he was trying to go with some of those.
Because again, that stuff it's to a certain extent it's interesting, but at the same time it's just, we spent so much time with it, and like the payoff from it, like the information that we're gleaning from this, is not that much. It's just people hunting rats. Like, okay,
right, exactly,
gotcha.
Although I did think that I think it was towards the end, he shows the old map of Baltimore that's split off into the sections, like the color coded sections, and then he overlaid the like topographical maps that had different like crime statistics and poverty line and like all that stuff. Like I thought that was all very interesting, how there was that crazy amount of overlap. Now that's something that we could all probably assume anyway, but it was interesting to actually see those facts,
but it was just
visualized.
Yeah, and again, that's interesting, but you're still sitting there kind of thinking like, okay, so are you gonna, what's the correlation with the rat?
Right.
Like, are you gonna,
what does this have to do with the rats?
Are you gonna take these two end threads and tie them together? But no, he doesn't do that. He just, gives some information here and there and just moves on to a completely different. It's so scattershot. I mean, one minute this guy's hunting rats, and the next we're doing statistics, and then the next thing we're talking with this guy about CSI rooms where they stage, and then we're over here talking about this, and
then we're in the video game thing.
Yeah, we're scrolling through Google like how many times.
That was a little egregious. The video game stuff was, I thought it was in there way too much.
Yeah,
like it all felt like filler to me at one point.
Yeah, and then then a little bit later on, he tries to add this. I don't know if he's going for this like poetic.
Yeah, how you can fall through.
Yeah,
There's like glitches and you can fall through and see space and all of this stuff. And I'm like, nah, dude, that's just like bad code. They just didn't. They just didn't. They didn't have the collision detection on there right, so you can float through the walls and.
And it's just like, what is this? What are we doing with rats? Are we talking about rats?
Are we still talking about rats, or is this something else? Are we getting existential here, or are we still just talking about rats? Yeah, like it is very scattershot.
It just keeps for sure. Keeps getting distracted, and then the throw, like, I found Dan Deacon's score to be really interesting, and kind of reading a little bit about how he made the score for the film, right? Which, I kind of think that that's more interesting than the actual film. But going into it, I didn't know that he would spend, there's a decent amount of time where he's like showing Dan Deacon making the score for the movie. And it's just like,
yeah,
what? Why is this in here?
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of strange interludes and things that occur that I'm just like, I'm not sure how this fits in with the rats or the people of Baltimore or what we're trying to do here.
Yeah,
but it's fun. It's a strange one to talk about though, because I did find a lot of it very interesting.
That's what I mean. It is interesting, but overall I don't think he was successful, especially when he's trying to make these correlations, right? But yet he provides no evidence whatsoever.
I think that maybe he had this thesis, and it just didn't, like, he just wasn't able to piece it together.
You know how there's always investigations in movies and stuff where they have all the evidence all over the wall, just the whole wall, and there's just stuff everywhere, clippings and pictures and whatnot, and you got the red threads going to everything. His movie's that, but with just no threads. There's no threads anywhere. Yeah. It's just he put the shit up on the wall and he was like, I'm done, I did it. And you're just, but like, also, this is just a mess. I don't know what are you trying to tell me?
It'd be like the end of that procedural where instead of finding that like key piece of evidence that tied it all together and solved the case, they were just like, fuck it, we give up. Like, we can't figure this out.
That's what like, they keeps getting distracted because they're like, I think we have something here, and then someone's like, hey, look, did you notice on Google if you go into a building there's space at the bottom? And then he focuses on that for the rest of the day instead of doing the actual work.
Yeah. Hey, there's these two guys that sit at the end of an alley, and they look pretty badass. Like, one of them has a baseball bat. Let's show them for a little while.
Yeah,
that'll look pretty cool.
And for so long too.
Yeah,
just like, yeah, I get it.
Like, it was a cool shot. The first time they showed it, I was like, damn, they look intimidating. Like, those guys look pretty cool. But
at the same time, it's like, why? Can I get a little bit more? That, like, do they spend a lot of their time doing this?
I know,
because it seems
is that their job? Is that just a hobby? What's happening here?
It's totally a hobby that I have a feeling they're spending way too much money on, buying peanut butter and lunch meat and paying for gas, and then you got to get the folding chairs and your fishing rod and your baseball bat. Just seems like a lot of stuff to do, a lot of work put in. And
the other guy,
I keep wondering, like, is this how you're spending like your Friday night or your Saturday night? Like, this is what you're doing with your weekend?
Yeah, it seems a little dysfunctional. The other guy, he had all kinds of like customized pellet guns and stuff. He was all geared out.
Yeah.
It's like these are the guys that would love to just be a hunter living in the woods, but they live in the city. So this is like the next best thing for them. It's like just hunting rats.
And I love the actual, which I wish there was more time spent with the guy that actually worked for Baltimore,
Yeah, he was an interesting character.
He was really, really interesting. And that's, I mean, it's the one nice thing about this movie, and the thing I love about documentaries when they spend time with just real people, is someone like him is, like, you don't get that in a movie.
Right.
You just don't get a person as interesting. No matter how much work you put in and try and write a character, they're never as good. And that guy's just, he coming in and he's taking out rats in like 5 minutes and then leaving. And this other guy's like, I've customized four different guns and I have a freaking
blow dart.
Blow dart.
I think we'll use the blow dart for this one. And I love how he was so quick to point out multiple times, really quick, no suffering, just real quick. They didn't suffer at all. This is a clean kill, no suffering. It's like, well, they wouldn't be suffering at all if you weren't trying to kill all of them.
Yeah, just leave them alone.
So Chris reviewed this for us on the site. He gave it a 4.5 out of 10. He seemed to have a real problem with how both the rats and the people were depicted in this movie. I think he maybe felt that they were exploited a little bit. I didn't really get that sense, and to be honest, after reading his review, I'm like, fuck, I don't want to be watching a movie that has all kinds of horrific rat deaths. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see these rats being butchered or like tortured or just killed in horrible ways. But I thought that it was actually done pretty respectfully. There is a scene where a bunch of rats get killed, but the way that it was edited, I thought was not too bad.
Yeah.
And I think that it's an important thing to show in a movie like this too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think if you took it out completely, it would lose some of the impact. Like, it's something that we need to see in a movie like this.
Yeah, because the first time they shot the guy with the bat, I was just like, God damn it, don't tell me I'm going to see some rats getting smashed in.
And you do see it, but it's
the way they
quick.
The way they cut it, the way they edit it, I think takes a lot of the gruesomeness out of it.
The Morgan Spurlock film, I think, which I think was just called Rats, that one was a lot more gruesome in some of the things that they showed. So I thought that this one handled it in a much more tame manner, while still, showing that there is a rat problem in Baltimore and people are taking measures into their own hands to kill these rats.
That is correct. Rats.
It's just weird that there were 2 rat movies that came out.
Everybody jumping on that rat train. Talk about some rats. I mean, they are interesting. They're
interesting, and the thing is, the Morgan Spurlock one was a lot more informative about like the science behind rats and what's going on and stuff. Like, this one gets into the history of rat poison and all of that stuff, which I think is interesting. But what the Spurlock one gets into is the fact that rat poison that they were using no longer works. Like, the rats have evolved and they can survive that. So scientists are struggling to come up with a new formula that can kill the rats, but not, kill our pets and stuff at the same time.
Yeah.
So what Spurlock's documentary sort of threatens is that we could be on the verge of an epidemic, like a rat epidemic, and their scientists are struggling to figure out ways that they can prevent that from happening, because the rat population just keeps increasing and increasing, and with that, of course, is the spread of disease and all of that.
Yeah, things are gonna get awful.
Oh yeah.
Things are about to get really terrible.
Yeah. There's just going to be rats everywhere, fucking hurricanes. The East Coast is going to be burnt to the ground. There's just going to be ashes.
Oh my God. Yeah. And then you have so many diseases now that are just, they can't be, like, there's no medicine for it.
Nope. Meanwhile, North Korea's launching nukes all over the place, and Trump's launching nukes everywhere, and it's just, what a shit show.
It is. It truly is. We only have ourselves to blame.
Yeah.
Good job, guys. Great job.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Getting back to Rat Film. Any final thoughts before we give this thing a score?
I would like a documentary just following the guy around that worked for Baltimore. I could spend an hour and a half with him.
Rat Film too.
Yeah, while he's doing his job.
Well, you live close enough there. You could probably go shadow him for a day.
I should look into that. I wish they would just ask him all the questions too. Like, ask him what he thinks about Google when you can go into a building and it shows space underneath. Get his, because he was, man.
They should have done that.
Guy.
They should have taken him to that VR thing and had him try out the VR rat thing.
What the fuck was that? Why'd they keep showing Dan Deacon playing the music and that woman wearing the VR? Like,
I don't know.
That's the thing about documentaries nowadays. Well, maybe it happened in the past too, but they're so fucking narcissistic where they gotta like input themselves somehow. Like, you can't just be about a thing. They have to be in it too. And this one's they just show them like hanging out doing a VR thing, and it's like, you don't need to be in this film. Yeah, why are you in it?
I was really interested in seeing Human Flow, the Ai Weiwei documentary about refugees.
Yeah.
And I saw a trailer for it recently, and there was like one scene they showed in the trailer where the camera cuts away from the refugees, like taking their long journey, to Ai Weiwei standing there like beside the cameraman just watching. And I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, do you really have to put a shot of yourself in there? Like,
the movie, the film still looks good, and I'll probably check it out. But
even there, where you like refugees, can it just be 100% focus on refugees? Like, we don't need to see you. We know who you are.
Yeah. You're a famous artist. We get it.
Yeah.
We get it. All right, Rat Film. Let's see. I'm probably gonna give this one. I'll go with like a 5.5.
I give it like a 4.5.
Now I'm thinking maybe I should have dropped mine lower because
influence, man.
Yeah,
I got some pull. I'm an influencer. Right. That's what I do.
There you have it. Rat Film, that is in theaters right now. I don't know if this is on VOD. Honestly, I don't think it is.
I did love what I came to make as the theme song of those guys in the park.
Oh yeah,
that song's awesome.
The best was the praise at the end from the other woman that was sitting there. Like, she was just like, that was the best.
I think she even said too, like, that was the best you guys have ever done.
Yeah, like,
is awesome because I just immediately. How many songs do they have?
Done? Yeah.
Are they all?
Do they have rats? An album, and can I buy it on iTunes?
Are they all about rats, or do they do other subjects? That's what I want to know.
I don't know, but that one guy really hates the rats. He hates.
But yeah,
he's like, motherfuckers.
He is awesome.
Maybe thinking about that in retrospect, maybe it is a little exploitative, but
maybe, I don't know.
All right,
I didn't really get that sense.
No, I didn't either, honestly. All right, that's Rat Film. Let's move on. Talk about something we're watching on the watch list. I'm gonna grab. All right, Kevin. We'll start with you. What do you got on your watch list this week?
I caught up with the Lovers from Azazel Jacobs from earlier this year. Deborah Winger and Tracy Letts playing a married couple that are both having affairs. Each one got something on the side, and they're miserable with each other, right? So, and essentially that's the movie, right? It's just Tracy Letts spends time with his girlfriend. Deborah Winger spends time with her boyfriend. They come home, they don't really talk to each other. And then they spend some time with the other people. Come home, don't like each other. But then there's a twist where they kind of their love's rekindled, right? So they start spending a bunch of time with each other and kind of ignoring their side pieces, right? So then that happens for a while. Yeah, it's the same thing over and over again. All the characters are extremely unlikable, which, okay, that's fine. Don't have to have likable characters, right? But at least when you have unlikable characters and it works, is because those unlikable characters are at least interesting. These people aren't interesting. And it's just the same thing over and over, and there's their son's coming, and they've both told their lovers that after the son leaves, it's over. I'm finally going to leave her. I'm finally going to leave him, right? But then with their rekindling, it's like, oh, are they actually going to leave each other or are they not? But the stakes are so low. And honestly, you don't really care because the people that they're with, that having affairs with, are awful. They're both just so juvenile and ridiculous that it's like, I really don't care. I don't care if you stay together. I don't care if you leave each other and go be with your terrible partners. Like, you guys just have terrible taste and you're just all awful people. I just don't really care. It's just completely uninteresting. And it's an hour and 37 minutes, but the real feel on it was like 3 hours because it's just so damn repetitive and there's just nothing going on.
All right.
I don't like it, and I don't suggest that you see it. I would do something else.
I'd say, all right, avoid the lovers.
Yeah, if you're looking to catch up on 2017 titles for your year-end list, Adam, you can skip right over the lovers.
Okay. I'll note that.
Please write it down.
I'll note that. I saw the Limehouse Golem.
Yes.
I actually saw this last week, but I forgot to mention it on the show.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because it made that much of an impact.
Right.
This is directed by Juan Carlos Medina. It's this kind of Jack the Ripper-esque procedural about an investigator played by Bill Nighy. He's going after this serial killer known as the Limehouse Golem. Stars Olivia Cook also.
Okay.
Didn't really work for me, this one. Eddie Marsden's in there, so it was really nice to see him. Always a big fan of his. It was okay. It wasn't great. I could see where it was going pretty early on. Like, I was able to predict the killer pretty early on. But it still goes to some pretty interesting places. It looked pretty good as well. Bill Nighy's pretty awesome in it, but I like him in pretty much everything he's in. And it's pretty much it. I really don't have a whole lot to say. It's one of these kind of gothic horror stories, and it was all right. If you're looking for this kind of 19th century murder mystery, maybe give it a look. I think it's on VOD.
Okay. All right. I watched the original Parent Trap from 1961.
Okay.
Parent Trap. Twins. Meet
Trapping
each other.
those parents.
Meet each other. 13 years later. They were split up. At, 1 year old. I don't know when they got split up. But for whatever reason, back in 61, a husband and wife could take one twin out of the set and just move across country and just never let them see each other ever again until they end up going to the same camp, which is how they end up finding each other. Ridiculous premise. I love it. It was good fun. Gotta say, I've never seen Parent Trap, the original or the remake, but it was pretty ridiculous, and it was just, I don't know, there's just something about like those types of films from that time period, these like family films where they're kind of ridiculous and just preposterous. I know there's just like a wholesome quality to it that just for whatever reason works for me. I don't know why, but I just find it endearing, even though it is just it's just ridiculous. But they set up their parent trap, right? And then the parents have to meet each other, and the minute that they meet each other, they just start arguing, and they're just yelling at each other, and the mother actually punches the father in the face, like right in the eye, just punches him right in the eye, just gives him like a black eye, and it's like these people should not be together. Like there's a reason it didn't work, and this should not work out. You should just abort this mission because clearly these people should not be together. They're just not good for each other. But the other interesting, I guess one of the most interesting things is the twins are played by Haley Mills, so they have the whole. A lot of time for me was spent like when they have a shot of both of them in a scene. It's just trying to figure out how in the world they did that.
Did it look good for 1961?
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Because and that was one of the things that I thought of going into it. I was like, oh, this is probably going to be inadvertently funny because you're going to be able to tell and it's kind of going to look silly. But seriously, I couldn't. They did a hell of a job back in 1961.
Cool. I remember I saw the remake.
Did you?
The one with, what's her name?
Lindsay Lohan.
Lohan, yeah. Saw that one. Not too long ago, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it sucked. It was bad.
I didn't know there was a Parent Trap 3.
I didn't know there was a Parent Trap 2.
Yeah, me neither. Oh,
or is it like Surf where there's no other one?
I don't know because I'm not seeing a Parent Trap 2, but this one is from 1989. Parent Trap 3. It's got Barry Bostwick in it, and the original girl Haley Mills is in it, and this is with the triplets.
Oh boy!
Oh man.
So you're a Parent Trap fan. Are you like a Herbie the Love Bug fan? You like those Herbie movies?
No, I have not seen those either. I think I'm gonna have to go back and watch a lot of these Disney movies.
Yeah, Bedknobs and Broomsticks, Pete's Dragon, all those Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
There's so many for me to watch. I'm pretty excited.
There's a lot that have that same kind of tone as the Parent Trap. So if you like the Parent Trap, you may like a lot of those other older Disney live action ones. Let's see. I saw Downrange. This is the new one from Ryuhei Kitamura.
Mm-hmm.
This is a director that I think I can safely say we're both pretty big fans of this guy. He's done a lot of really interesting things. Most recently, we spoke about Midnight Meat Train and Lupin the Third, because a couple weeks ago, we both saw those movies individually and talked about it. And so this is his new one, Downrange. It's a English language film. It's an American film. It's okay. I was pretty excited for it because I like the director, and this is what I would call a containment thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a term that I made up, by the way. Trademark. Adam Patterson.
Oh,
yeah?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I've never heard it referred to as that before, so at any rate. Basically, it's about a group of 20-something-year-olds who are on a road trip, and their tire blows out, but guess what? Their tire didn't actually blow out. It was shot out. And there's a sniper that is trying to pick them off one by one.
Mm.
So they're basically stranded on this road behind their car, and if they move out of cover, the sniper shoots at them, so they need to be really careful. But as it turns out, one of the girls in the group, her dad was in the military, so she knows a lot about survival and guns and first aid and different things like that. So she's like figuring stuff out. They're coming up with ideas. They're trying different plans. Some of it's working a little bit, but most of it is ending horribly. Really good use of a selfie stick in this movie. This is probably the first movie I ever saw a selfie stick being used. I don't even know if I've ever seen a selfie stick in a movie yet, but there was definitely one in this, and it was utilized in a pretty interesting way. Dialogue's horrible. Script is pretty bad. Acting is piss poor. The gore effects, like the blood and the violence, that's top notch. That's actually quite good. It looks very real, and some of the scenes are pretty disturbing. But overall, pretty average. Again, it's called Downrange. I should mention that this premiered at TIFF just this week. It is not out yet, and I don't know if it has distribution yet. However, I can see this one easily being picked up by IFC Midnight or even Shudder. I think it's maybe a little bit of maybe a little higher quality than some of most of the stuff that Shudder's been putting out. But yeah, I'm sure that we'll see it probably at some point later this year. Would not recommend for you.
I'm gonna guess Shudder. I think it's gonna end up on Shudder.
All right, we'll lay down some bets after the show.
20 grand.
Oh, going big. Okay. All right.
Let's be irresponsible. Okay, let's do it.
All right, I'm fine with that. Anything else on your list?
I have one. Not really going to talk about it too much because I just finished it. Right, so it's still, and it's it's a slow cinema type where I gotta sit with this sucker for a while, let it steep. Just gotta let it steep, and that's the movie By the Time It Gets Dark, which I just want to throw this out there because it's on Mubi right now. If you have Mubi, check it out, because right now it's probably one of my favorite films of the year. It's fantastic. I just gotta sit with it, man. I just gotta try and figure this sucker out. Because it's one of those movies that, like, as soon as I was done watching it, I'm just like, and even during it, I'm like, God, I love this. I just absolutely loved it. But I also trying to, grasp at things of why, and I don't really have anything. I just loved it, but I'm not really sure why. Just worked for me.
Interesting. What's the name of that again?
By the Time It Gets Dark.
By the Time It Gets Dark, and that's on Mubi. One that I didn't add to my list yet, but I definitely don't want to forget. I saw Mother, the new one from Darren Aronofsky.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, so this one's also worth mentioning because of there's a lot of discussion on Twitter this weekend about this movie. It received an F Cinema Score rating. Now, if you're not familiar, Cinema Score is basically this dumb, arbitrary poll that takes place when at opening night movies, they will poll, I think, random audience members after leaving the theater, ask them a variety of questions, and then based on the answers, movies will get a cinema score.
Mm-hmm. That's a stupid idea. That's awful.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Sure. But it's a very popular method of gauging audience reaction to movies and whatever. It got an F. Right now on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 68%. The user score, I believe, on Rotten Tomatoes is something like a 40. So there's a pretty big disparity there between
kind of all over the place.
Critics and audiences, but it's very divided even within critics. We have a review for it up on the site. Mint reviewed it for us. He gave it a 9 out of 10. He loved it.
All right.
I'm sitting somewhere in the middle at this point. However, I saw it yesterday. I'm still kind of processing it. It's a weird movie. It is a weird ass movie to really try to discuss, because everything in the movie is so open-ended and so left for interpretation that there are multiple avenues you can take with it. So, as you may have seen in the trailer, the film is about Jennifer Lawrence and Javier Bardem. They move into this house. She's fixing up the house. She is basically taking over duties of making sure that the house is in perfect order. She's designing it specifically like to her specifications, what she wants. Javier Bardem is a writer. He's got writer's block. He's struggling to make to write his next novel. His first novel was a huge hit, and he's having a hard time with the follow-up. And eventually, weird things start to happen. Ed Harris shows up out of nowhere, and he's just this kind of strange guy who claims to be an orthopedic surgeon, and they let him in, and they let him stay there for some reason. Then all of a sudden, the guy's wife shows up, played by Michelle Pfeiffer. Then their 2 kids show up, played by Domhnall Gleeson and the other Gleeson boy. I can't remember his name. I say boy, but he's probably older than me.
I was going to say he's probably like 38.
Yeah, I can't remember the other Gleeson. And it just kind of escalates from there. It gets stranger and stranger, more bizarre things start to happen, and then eventually the film just breaks apart and turns into utter chaos. Like it just goes batshit, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on in this movie? It is all over the place. And there's different angles you can look at. You can look at it as this is a representation of religion. This is Aronofsky sort of taking the piss out of religion, and it's his interpretation of how religions are formed and what inherent issues with religion. Some people say that it could be a metaphor for an artist's work and how their work can sort of be all consuming and affect all of those around them. So there's a lot of different ways that you can look at the movie and what different elements of the film represent. Mm-hmm. And I think that bothers some people, because it's not just a film that's left ambiguous or is sort of open for interpretation. It's almost too wide open. You're just like, it is what you want it to be, and that I think frustrates people.
Yeah.
And the Hollywood Reporter came out with an article, I think today, that says, if you need to Google search the meaning of a movie when you get home, then it was a failure. Which I think is...
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's unbelievable for the Hollywood Reporter to publish an article with that title. I didn't read the article, so maybe it says something different, but at least from the headline, I think that's an utter garbage opinion. But this one's a tough one, man. Like, I can totally see why some people hate it and some people love it. I think it's a movie that you get what you want out of it, and it's you should probably see it. I
probably will. I will. I mean, I'm going to be seeing it. I wasn't going to the theater to do it. But
yeah,
I'll be catching up with it. And I'm sure
I have a feeling you will probably hate it.
We'll see.
I think you'll absolutely hate it. There was a lot of really cool elements to it, though. I mean, it looked gorgeous. The house, the design of the house was incredible. The sound mixing and editing was so good. Like, everything sounded so. It was one of those movies where the volume was like basically turned up on everything, even like small sound effects, like her just walking barefoot through the house. Like, you could hear every small step that she made, and it was just, it added to this like mounting dread in the movie.
Do they have when she's walking barefoot through the house, do they have that noise where your foot kind of suctions to the floor? Like, do they have linoleum floors? Or
No.
It makes that sound? Because I hate that sound if that's in that goddamn movie.
No, it sounds more like she's walking on maybe like a concrete floor. Okay. There's not really that kind of sticky suction sound. Yeah.
Because I'm not doing that. Not doing it.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that.
Okay, good.
There's some really shocking moments that happen in it too. There's some genuinely like crazy shit that happens, and it's an exhausting film. It really is. But I would say it's worth a look just for the discussions that it will spark alone. Like, I'm really interested to have a conversation with you about what you think, what you think about it, and the meaning that you took away from it, and all of that. Anything else on your list?
Nope, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, let's talk about some new releases in theaters next week. We have Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I know you'll be skipping this since you...
I'm not actually see this.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely be seeing it. I think it looks fun.
Because I just want to see how it goes on. Because how I found the first one to be interesting of them being so inept. And the fact that in the trailer, obviously all their shit gets blown up. And I just want to see how inept they are in the second. I want to see if that's a constant thing moving forward. Just that's what I'm interested in, is that angle. Is just how bad are they?
Yeah, I'll be checking that one out. I think it should be pretty fun. The Lego Ninjago movie. Now, I'm not too familiar with the whole Lego Ninjago story. This one initially didn't interest me. I think the trailers look pretty funny. I probably still won't be checking this one out in theaters, just because I don't know. I just don't really care about Lego Ninjago, and I feel like the Lego Batman movie wasn't too long ago that came out, and it's just like, I don't need more of this right now. We also have Battle of the Sexes. This is the Emma Stone, Steve Carell tennis movie.
That actually looks kind of fun.
One?
It looks like it could be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm interested in this one. I think
to me, this is one of those rentals.
Yeah, I think
like Friday night or something. Get some pizza, some Chinese food.
Yeah, I think it's it's directed by the Little Miss Sunshine people. Okay. So yeah, I'm interested in that. We also have Stronger. This is the one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
No thanks.
This is directed by David Gordon Green.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yep, it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, a little strange that it would be directed by him, because it doesn't really seem like his kind of movie, but whatever. Victoria and Abdul. This is a period piece. Tells the true story of Queen Victoria and her friendship with who was it? I don't even.
Abdul.
A clerk. He was a clerk from India.
Mm.
We got Dame Judi Dench as Queen Victoria. I'll be skipping that one.
Yep.
We got Friend Request. This is a horror movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with the whole social media horror type movies at this point. I'm over that shtick. So let's move on and do something else. Loving Vincent comes out. This is the Vincent van Gogh biopic that is done in entirely oil painted animation.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So this is the I think the first movie that's ever done something like this, where every frame is actually an actual like hand painted oil painting. Yeah. And they gathered up like, I don't know, a dozen artists, maybe even more, to make this movie. And there's, I think I read something like 30,000 oil paintings or something like that, maybe even more. And basically put it together and told this story about Van Gogh. And it's sort of it's sort of about his death, I think, too. So I'll be checking this out just because it looks really interesting. I think it's a really cool idea. I think that it looks like it was such a laborious process to make something like this, because if you see the trailer, like, the paintings are really good.
Yeah,
like they're obviously they're made to mimic Van Gogh paintings, so I think they did a pretty great job with it, but we'll see when that comes out next week. We also have Woodshock. This is the one with what's the Kirsten Dunst. The psychological thriller. Let's see. We also have The King's Choice. We have The Tiger Hunter. We have Unrest. We have Gaga 5'2". That's on Netflix, I believe. The House is October Built 2, horror movie. Big Bear, that's a comedy that looks pretty bad, although there's some funny people in it. We got Last Rampage with not Patrick Wilson, Robert Patrick and Heather Graham. For some reason, I get Patrick Wilson and Robert Patrick mixed up. They don't look anything alike, but
it's just the names throw you.
Yeah. We have Shot starring Noah Wiley.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one. So basically, it's a real-time story about a guy who is shot by a stray bullet on the street, and it just follows him from like the moment he gets shot to waiting for the ambulance, to the ambulance picking him up, taking him to the hospital, doing surgery. Like, it all plays out in real time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting idea. For some reason, the poster for this really works for me. I really like the poster for this movie. I think it's really effective. Don't know if the movie's going to be any good, but kudos on the poster because I like it. We also have Happy Hunting, Elizabeth Blue. That's a story about a woman who I think she's schizophrenic, maybe. Welcome to Willits. Not sure what that is. That's it. That's a lot.
That's quite a number of titles.
Yeah.
90% of which I'm never going to watch or see ever.
Yeah, probably not. VOD this week, we have Tennessee Whiskey. That comes out on the 19th. We got Second Nature. That's also on the 19th. Then on the 22nd, we have Big Bear, Last Rampage, and The House is October Built 2. I think I saw the first House is October Built, but I really remember nothing about it. I really do not remember.
Is that the one about the people that do their houses?
No, that was I can't remember the name of that one either. That was called American Scream, I think. And then the House is October Built is it's like a fictional story about a group of teens that like they get word of like the most extreme haunt or something like that, and they go, and it turns out that they get murdered or something. I remember bits and pieces of it. Blu-ray this week, we got The Bad Batch. That one's... No. I was really disappointed in that one. It's not a bad movie. I think
that's
really didn't work for me
too. think I remember seeing somewhere.
What's that?
I think I remember seeing somewhere that's coming to Netflix on the streaming.
Yeah, I think so, yes. I believe it is. Wonder Woman comes out. This is definitely one to take a look at. I would definitely recommend checking out Wonder Woman.
I would agree.
The Big Sick comes out. Another one that's I would certainly say is worth a look. Close Encounters of the Third Kind getting a 40th anniversary release. 40th anniversary. Wow. Yeah, I might pick this up. I'm anxious to see that one again. It's been years and years. The Devil's Candy is coming out too. That's a pretty decent horror movie that I would recommend with Ethan Embry. It's definitely got a very heavy metal vibe to it. So if you're into metal, check it out.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. There's that Hero movie. It's called The Hero with Sam Elliott. Criterion's this week. What do we got?
We got one of the best movies from last year. That's Certain Women. Kelly Reichardt getting the old Blu-ray on Criterion.
Yeah, we'll have a review for this up hopefully by Tuesday.
That movie's so good. Love that movie.
Yeah, I loved it too.
That fucking corgi. Did you watch did they have a special feature about the corgi?
Let's see. I'm actually looking at the Blu-ray right now. I do not see a special feature about the corgi.
They don't. That's a missed opportunity. I'm sorry. See, if I was reviewing that Blu-ray DVD, the ceiling on it right now would be a 9 out of 10. That's as high as it can go.
Yeah, I mean this release is probably not going to get like a 10 out of 10 or even a 9 because the features look a little bit lacking. I haven't gone through them all yet, but really it looks like it's just interviews. That's it.
Yeah.
This is a spoiler alert for the Art Life Blu-ray review. That one, all it has on it is the trailer and a 5-minute interview with the director. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah, Criterion dropping the ball big time, but I also don't believe that movie should be on the Criterion collection. As much as I love David Lynch, some movies just shouldn't be on there. Like, to me, Criterion is important cinema. It's movies that push the boundaries of cinema or influence filmmakers.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that one because it seems like it's just a ho-hum documentary about David Lynch.
It's just such a standard, and it's not like there's any kind of like big revelations or anything like that. And there's like so many movies, like so many documentaries that you look at, like Thin Blue Line or Hoop Dreams, or these like really groundbreaking documentaries that should be on the Criterion collection. I think, are they? I don't even know. I'm not sure if those.
I think those two are actually Criterion.
Well, then those deserve to be on it. But then, so they're on the Criterion collection, and then you put David Lynch, The Art Life, next to those, and you're like, one of these does not belong. You know what I mean? Like, It's not a bad documentary, but what has it done to elevate the documentary genre? Like, really nothing. It just seems like the only reason that it's on the Criterion collection at all is because it's David Lynch. And I just don't think that that's a good enough reason, just because David Lynch is the subject of the movie. Like, I have a hard time with that. But anyway, Certain Women, yeah, check that out.
Get it.
Is that the only one?
That's the only one.
Well, when the hell's the Lynch one coming out?
I think the week after.
Oh man, I did them in reverse.
Of course.
So now I gotta like bust my ass to get the other one done.
Of course.
God damn it! All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulsenet and @filmpulsekevin. If you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/filmpulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. Hey, we'll see you next week.